Sorry about that. The software I'm using to record this cuts off at 15 minutes, so I was almost done this example. We had the area of the rectangle and the area of the triangle, and we now have to put the two together to get the total area of the shape. So total area is area 1 plus area 2, which is 40 plus 16.6, which will give us 56.6 meters squared as the total. So that is the final answer for this question. On to the next one. So here's a ice cream cone kind of shape. We have a half of a circle at the top, and we have a triangle at the bottom. So the half circle I'm going to call area 1, and the triangle I'm going to call area 2. So we have a half circle. So we'll need to find the area of this and then divide it in half. Sorry, the area of a circle and then divide it in half. And then we'll also need to find the area of the triangle. Okay, so a circle area is equal to pi times r squared, and r is the radius. So it goes from the middle of the circle to one of the edges. So the diameter of this circle is 16 centimeters, which means that the radius is half of that. So 16 divided by 2, which will give us 8 centimeters. So for the area, we do pi times 8 squared. And remember, you do the exponents first. So 8 squared is 64. And then you multiply by pi, and you get approximately 201.06. And then the units are centimeters squared. Now for the triangle, we need the base of the triangle, which would be all the way across here. Remember, the base has to be perpendicular to the height. It needs that 90-degree angle. So the base is right. Maybe I'll use a different color. Red shows up a little better. So the base of this triangle is right here in red. And then the height is right here because they're perpendicular to each other. So area is equal to base times height divided by 2. And the base is 16 centimeters. And the height, even though it's not labeled inside, it is labeled out here, and it's got the arrows showing that that is the entire height. So the height is 12 centimeters. And then we divide by 2. 16 times 12 is 192. And then you divide that by 2, and you get 96 centimeters squared. So the total area is 201.06 plus 96. And then I'm going to just round the final answer to 297 centimeters squared. It's 297.06, but I'm not too worried about the decimals at this point. So now I just realized we did area and perimeter of this one, and then I forgot to do the perimeter of this house shape. So I'm going to go back to this one, duplicate, so then I can get the perimeter here. So I'll erase all this area stuff from this page. And the perimeter of this one is going to be so much easier than the area. The area had a lot of parts to figure out separately and then put all together. The perimeter is so much easier. So you'll notice this one has 5 sides. There is the bottom here. So I'm going to color code these. There's 10. We have 2 of these sides that are both 4 meters. And then we have 2 roof pieces that are both 6 meters. So we just have to add these things together. So 10 plus 4 plus 4 plus 6 plus 6 will be 30 meters for the perimeter. So much easier than the area. Now we'll go back to this one, and we're going to look at the perimeter of this one as well. So I think just for space, it's best to duplicate this one as well. Then we don't have to worry about area getting in the way. So for the perimeter, we need the two parts on the outside of the triangle, but not all three sides. We need this side, we need this side, and they're both going to be the same. So actually I'm going to trace them both in the same color. Both of those sides, and then we need half of the circumference of the circle. So half circumference plus 2 pieces of the triangle. So for the circumference, we have two different formulas. We have either C equals 2 pi r or C equals pi times d. I'm going to go with pi times d here because this is the diameter given. So there's no point dividing it in half to get the radius and then multiplying by 2 in the equation. Might as well just stick with the diameter as it is right now. So pi times 16. And you type that into your calculator and you get 50.265, and then there's a bunch more decimals after that. So I'm going to stick with this one for now. And now the yellow sides that I've colored yellow on the triangle, we don't know these sides yet. We know this is 12, so we know that this part is 12. And we already talked about the radius of the circle, which would be half of the diameter and half of each triangle. So the base of each little half of the triangle would be 8 centimeters. And this one would also be 8 centimeters. But we don't know that yellow side yet. So I'm going to take this triangle and redraw it out here. So we know that this side's 12. And we know that this side is 8. And we know there's a right angle because it's labeled. So again, we need to use Pythagorean theorem to get the missing side. Now this side, we're looking for the hypotenuse that's across from the right angle. Let me write that formula correctly with an equal sign, not a plus. There we go. So we're looking for the hypotenuse, which means both of the legs go here. 8 squared plus 12 squared. And again, the order doesn't matter. So we're going to put these things together to be c squared. 8 squared is 64. 12 squared is 144. And then 64 plus 144 is 208. And that's equal to c squared. So again, we have to square root that answer to get the length of c. So c squared is 208, which means that the square root of that, c will be the square root of 208, which means that c will be approximately 14.42 centimeters. So that is the yellow side of that triangle. Here is what we're looking for. So over here, total perimeter is half of the circumference. I'll just put half of circumference plus 2 of the sides. So 2, we'll say HYP for hypotenuse, because it's a hypotenuse of that triangle. So half of the circumference, so we have to take 50.265 and we have to divide it by 2 first, and then we have to add 2 of this side that's 14.42. So 50 divided by, 50.265 divided by 2 will give me 25.1325. And 14.42 times 2 will give me 28.84. Now, ideally, you would do all of this in order in a row and not have to squish it in like I have to do over here. So we're going to put these numbers together. So 28.84 plus 25.1325, and we get 53.9725. So I'm just going to round this to about 54 centimeters. And that is our final perimeter. I'm going to stop this video here so that I don't get cut off in the middle of the next example. So you can flip over to video 3 now to continue.